Okay, folks, David Soto Jr. here, and I am going to explain the power of a vision board. Now, I have been a fan or a follower of, um, it's kind of cheesy, but motivational speakers is what is the correct term, I think. Leaders, mentors, those people that are out there yeah, they make the videos, they make the audio recordings, they're at these huge seminars and you go to and they're all rah, rah, rah. Um, but the books, the podcasts, the audio books, and they've all come to say, but essentially they say the same thing. Um, if you think it and believe it, you can achieve it type of stuff. Now, it seems corny and it seems like something that you don't want to hear or you don't want to take part of, but I got to tell you that it works. I personally have been a fan of writing things down, writing things that I want, or writing my goals down, and I've just been amazed over the years. I continually talk about it and make videos and recordings about it, and I continually will, to get that message across how powerful writing things down is. And it's just to my amazement that there's been things that I've written down that I forgot that I wrote down and have come true. The only obstacle about writing things down and manifesting them and making them come true is actually doing it, like bringing yourself to do it. If I told you you can have anything in life you want, all you have to do is write it down over and over again a bunch of times and read it to yourself, would you do it? Would you even believe me? And would you take the time to do that? Well, I still find it hard to believe, to tell you the truth. But what I can't deny is that it happens. It takes place. I get everything that I write down or that I want, that I think about, that I meditate on. Um, Recently, within the past few years, I've heard a couple of different stories about creating a vision board and how things come true. I don't remember the book that I listened to, but a guy had a house, a piece of property on his vision board, and then packed away his vision board, continued on with his life, had a family, had a wife, had kids, had a family, and one day he was with his son and he was scrolling through, not scrolling, but digging through a box full of stuff, and he came across his old vision board, and on his vision board was a piece of property, a house that he wanted to live in someday. And who knows how old this picture that he cut out of the magazine was, for how long he at one time had it up on his wall and then put it away. But as he came across this picture of a piece of property that he wanted to one day buy and live in, he was actually in that house with his child, with his family. He had forgotten that he wanted that was a picture that he had posted on his vision board 10 years prior or 20 years prior. He had forgotten, and he put it away with mementos. And one day when he was digging out, he found that picture, and he was living in that very house. So that's an amazing story, and I wish I should have referenced that, or found out the source. I know it was an audiobook, so I know I could look it up, but I don't have time right now. I've already started my recording. After hearing that story, I kept a vision board thing in my mind for a while. Then, I think it was Jack Canfield, Success Strategies or something like that. He talked about power of a vision board and even role playing. So I thought, what the heck? This is, you hear something over and over again, you want to check it out and see if it's true. Why not try it? And so what I did is, knowing that I was going to live my life on the road, so we're looking at around 2015. I'm looking at retiring by December of 2015, and my goal is to get a van and go travel the country. So, knowing that, keeping that in mind, I knew that I couldn't actually like get a cork board and um, put pictures on a cork board and cut them out of magazines. And although I kind of started doing that years before, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that if I was going to actually live in my van. So what I did was to created a electronic vision board, and I just took pictures from the internet. Yes, I stole them, and I wish I could know who to give credit to some of these pictures. But I'd post them and I put them as my wallpaper, and they alternated every minute. Just a bunch of pictures that I thought were things that I wanted in my future, and I saw them every day because I'm on my computer every day, writing and marketing and doing whatever I need to do for hours at a day. And always in the background were these pictures, random pictures that I stole off the internet. And what I began to realize over time, or when I go through a lot of my pictures to post for blog posts on Medium, I scroll through pictures and I realize that I have some that kind of mimic the pictures that I put on my wallpaper from 2015. And I realized that I need to go through and see how many of these pictures that I've taken are actually, or that I posted as a vision board, have manifested. And I have ended up taking myself. So that's what this is. I'm going to show you what has happened since 2015 when I originally, when I originally put these pictures on my wallpaper of my laptop. What has happened since now? It's 2019, so it's been 4 years, but it's just amazing. I think it's amazing. Actually, I take it back. I don't. It just figures that this would work. It figures. It makes sense that we have power to create whatever in life we want. And this video is showing you what has happened in the past 4 years. So, the power of the vision board, let's get started. This is a Volkswagen bus, VW bus, not a Westfalia, or is it Westfalia? Anyways, this is the ultimate van life van. One would think, right? You're gonna be hippie traveling around the world or the country, and this just seems like the right vehicle to do it in. It's got a pop-up top, and you can sleep up there. It's super cool. And when I first started my van life idea, or thinking about van life, this was what I thought I was going to get. Then I started looking at the prices, and I was like, whoa, no way. Another thing that I looked at was that I'm 6'7", and these things are cool, and they have little kitchens, little galleys, but people sleep across the back. Now you can sleep up top in the pop-up, but of course it can get cold because all it is like a canvas tent type thing. Excuse me, I'm drinking coffee and I'm making this recording, and I'm an idiot for doing so. And of course I have to belch. So this was the beginning. Like, I knew that I was going to get one of these vans, or I thought I was. What I actually ended up with was this. This is my GMC Safari. I did a lot of research, and I was going to go with a 4-cylinder Honda Odyssey because of the gas mileage, and I knew I was going to be traveling a lot. But again, like the VW, I looked at the back of this Odyssey and realized that it was not going to work for me because it was a small van, and I'm a big guy, and I was going to take up a lot of space in that van. I still wanted a small van. I still wanted a minivan, but I realized that I was not going to fit in the Honda Odyssey. Plus, I just kept reading so much things about the transmission. When I realized that GMC made these, these Safaris were pretty, like, strong trucks. Essentially, they're like, and they're fairly easy to work on. They have their problems, they have their issues, but there was two entire websites dedicated to Safaris and Astros. Astro being the Chevy version, and Safaris the GMC. I looked for a while, and I came across this one in Illinois, and paid $1,500 for it. Again, everything else I was looking at, the Odysseys were, I could maybe get in an Odyssey for $4,000 or $5,000. The VW, you're looking at 16,000. And when I saw this, when I started doing the research and I came across, I knew that I was going to get one of these. Only thing I didn't like about this one, I bought it anyways, was that it didn't have a ladder rack or luggage rack on top. But this is what happened. So I went from imagining or thinking that I was going to get a Westfalia or a VW camper van, and I bought this instead. But I had my van, right? I wanted a van, got a van, and there it is. And then there was a lot of work to follow once I made this purchase. Again, this was what I thought about was cool about this is a Toyota, and it's a 4x4 Toyota. And I was realizing that I thought it was just super cool to have this vehicle that can go anywhere. And of course, the background is, you can totally tell that that's somewhere in Southwest United States, which is my favorite part of the country so far. Well, one of my favorite parts, I guess. But I really enjoy Southwest, like Four Corners area of the United States. And I'm not sure where this picture was taken, but I saw it and I liked it. I probably found it on Pinterest. Again, if I stole your pictures, let me know. I'll take them down or I'll give you full credit. But come on. You know, I'm a photographer myself, and I know shit gets stolen. Also about this is if you look at the tires, BFG all-terrains, those, something I just realized now, actually, like just now realized that those were the tires that I wanted. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at an off-road vehicle, and that's what I wanted in my future, and that's what I ended up getting. So this is me at Lake Powell on the beach in the sand, all-wheel drive. You can't see the tires, but I have the same tires that are in the previous picture. And this was awesome. I actually put all that stuff on the bottom because it was really windy that evening, and I had to cook my dinner, which I cooked it over an open fire. You can tell how soft the sand, it's sand, and I was able to park there. If you look in the background, there's an RV, and it was gravel up there, but to get this close to the water, you can see a little bit of the water in front of the front bumper. You can see the lake a little bit. But here I am, super cool off-road. Had the same tires that are in the previous picture. Let's go back. And I just realized this, like I said. So that's something that happened, right? I put this picture in a constant reminder of get the best tires you can get for off-road. And that's exactly what I ended up on my van, and they're still on it now. Great set of tires. But this was just super cool. I collected firewood, all the firewood that was along all the driftwood that was on the beach. I picked it up. I had some left over. I stayed here for a couple days. Didn't get stuck. It's pretty sandy. It was great. That was a great stay. Ended up going there a couple other times. This is when I had Rusty, and I still had to keep him tied up. Our relationship was pretty new, and he wasn't real trusting. Next photo that was on my wallpaper is this German Shepherd. Now, I have a German Shepherd that looked quite like this. I have a picture of him. I took it with my 35 millimeter 20 years ago. I loved it. I love German Shepherds. They're my favorite dog. One of the things I wanted was to someday, I want a dog. And I've even written my, my to-do list, or I have this to-do list that I made. I made several lists over the past few years. And one of them is to get a dog. Like, I want a dog. I've always wanted a German Shepherd. I had one. I've had two. But I've lived this life in the military and traveling that I wasn't able to get my German Shepherd or to replace him or get another one. Uh, my beautiful German Shepherd's name was Wyatt. Everybody loved him. Anniversary picture. It just recently came up on Facebook and I reposted, and so many people made comments. And even though um, he's been he's been dead for 16 years now, 17 years, people just love him. And that one dog, anyone who knew him remembers what a great dog he was. So I wanted to get back into having a dog again, and a German Shepherd specifically. And this is an example of what doesn't exactly happen, but you get pretty close. I mean, I can't complain. Now, this wasn't my dog, but this is my good Air Force buddy that lives in Colorado. It's his dog, Bogey. And me and Bogey hung out. We were buds. We went fishing, ice fishing, and we went playing in the snow. We did all kinds of stuff. And it was super cool to, when I did stay with my friend, to have a dog to hang out with. And I don't know. It's pretty cool how similar the pictures are. Yeah, it's not a German Shepherd, but it's a dog in the snow. And then there's Bogey. And it's just weird that this picture is in my background, alternating throughout the past few years. And then one's quite similar to it appears in my collection of photos that I've taken. Next up, there's a VW again, and I'm pretty sure this is at Zion National Park, which I have been to. I did not return to Zion on my trip, though I could have, because Lake Powell is just a few miles away from Zion. But camping, because eventually I'll show you. Well, I showed you a picture already, but eventually I got a dog, and they're not very welcome on national parks at all. So, and Zion is all about the hikes, and you can't take any dogs on any hikes. But it is gorgeous there. Man, camping on a national park is ridiculously high. Anyways, here I am, or here's a picture of a VW, not a pop-up, all right, so not the Westphalia package, but it does have a Yakima storage bin on top, and Reflectix. I don't know if that's Reflectix, but the reflective stuff's in the mirror for insulation and privacy. And again, the beautiful southwest area of the United States. And there's my van. I'm in Utah, so Utah, and it just was gorgeous. Now this is just outside Moab. There's some campgrounds. Of course, I got a perfect campground because it was winter and nobody was there. So I got a campsite right on the Colorado River. You can look at it. It's the brown stuff behind the van there. It's not beautiful, pristine waters, but what the hell? It's the Colorado. So also, I didn't get a Yakima. I had a Thule, but I put that rooftop storage container on top, and you can kind of see the Reflectix in the back through the windows, but I have Reflectix there. Very similar to this picture. In the background, the color of the rocks. So I thought it was pretty cool. Again, this is something that I saw on a regular basis on my wallpaper, and this is a picture that I ended up taking. And I actually took this picture still in 2015, so it didn't take long for this to become this. Same year. Now, I thought this was cool. Of course, I love German Shepherds, and I've always wanted to be a father. Here, I'll give credit, aplacetolovedogs.com. That's their picture. I stole it from them. Please don't come after me or anything. But I just thought that this is cool. It's a little baby boy, and he's by his buddy. He's protecting him. That German Shepherd's protecting him, and it's a gorgeous German Shepherd, and it's a dog. I love everything about this, and I've just, I got older and older and older, and I'm wondering if I was ever going to have a child. I kind of wanted to, but it just wasn't happening. I didn't know. Um, so here is I'm A, manifesting having a dog, and B, manifesting having a child. And currently, that's my dog. And we don't have the baby yet, but he's coming. He's coming real soon. So this is as close as I can get, but this is pretty good, isn't it? Like, I don't have the picture of a baby next to a dog, but I have this. And pretty soon, you can guarantee I'll take a picture when the baby's here and able to sit up and play with our buddy Bruno. But what's more important is, like, yeah, the picture isn't that similar, but I have a son on the way. All right. Like, here's a picture of a baby boy that I posted because I wanted to have a child one day, and he's coming. Like, that manifested, that happened. I don't know, just blows me away. And it's not just a random, something random with some random woman or some woman where we've made some type of agreement. Yeah, it's with the woman that I love, the love of my life, the woman that I've wanted to have a child with since we first started dating in 2003. So that's a big one. That's a big deal. I think it's manifested. It's come true. There it is. And I took this with my camera. It's a really good picture. The quality of using a camera, not a phone. Sometimes you can't beat it. I thought this was cool. There's this guy, obviously lives in a van. I don't know if motorcycling is whatever going to be my thing, but I just love the fact that there was snow in the background, and this guy is washing himself in a little creek there. I just thought that this was awesome. And there I am, submerging myself in ice cold. You can see that there's snow. You look in the upper right, there's some snow. This was freezing. This is a still of a video because there's no way I was gonna set the timer on the camera and then jump in the water. This water's freezing cold, below freezing, I'm almost positive, and I was able to stay in it. And I tried to bathe and wash my goodies, but man, it was cold and I had to jump back out. I actually went back in again a second time. What's really cool is this scenery here. I've actually experienced this very thing. Like, if I was able to set my camera up and take a picture, it would have looked quite similar to this. I parked my van in some part of the national forest in Colorado. Had ice melt coming, a creek right next to us. It was amazing. It's great to sleep. Like, you have noise machines that mimic the sound of a creek or a stream, and I actually slept next to it. I mean, this picture I could have taken myself. I actually lived this. I woke up in the morning and ran out and jumped into the water and bathed myself real quick. And you'd be amazed how refreshing it is, for one thing. But if you have sunlight, like in this picture, you'd be amazed how warm you get on your bare ass skin. And once you wipe the water off, just being in the sun, it's really warming. Like, it really heats your body up, and you think that you may think it's dangerous or crazy to submerge yourself in freezing water, but once you wipe the water off, there's no danger. There's nothing to remove or to so quickly remove the heat from your body. But it's eerie that I really did experience this. Like, everything, like, except for the motorcycle on the back there in the hitch and haul, I did this very thing in the mountains. Jumped in. I can tell this guy is out riding, and he's gonna sleep there for the night. And he just got done riding, and he jumped in the creek to wash himself. And that's exactly what I did, except I wasn't riding. But yeah, I woke up in the morning. I jumped in the creek, And it was cold, but it was so cool. All right, and this is just outside of Sedona, by the way. Awesome, awesome experience. Next up, picture of a German Shepherd in the grass. Now this is what's crazy. Like, I didn't get a German Shepherd, but I got Rusty, and I took his picture all the time. Rusty was my travel buddy. We had a good time. Unfortunately, he was a rescue, and he had some habits that he couldn't get away from, namely nipping and biting at people. He was aggressive, and I had to give him up. After a year of trying to basically rehabilitate him, I saved his life without a doubt, because he was marked, or he was scheduled to be put down. I gave him an extra year of life on the road. Lots of pictures, lots of fun pictures. I mean, I could put a album together of all the cool things that we did and all the cool pictures we took. But I just thought that that's kind of cool. Like, there's a picture of a dog in the grass. There's a picture of my dog in the grass. Not a German Shepherd, but pretty dang close. Now, this picture, what it represents means a lot more than the actual photo. I mean, obviously, this is a couple. They're having a fun time in bed, and they have their trusty companion there, and they're not worried about fur getting all over the place. They don't care. This picture represents, to me, it represents just the joy and the pleasure of being a happy couple and a family, and a dog family. And so what I was hoping for is that, not necessarily be jumping in bed with the dog, but I was hoping to get what this represents. And got pretty close. Seeing as I had to take the pictures, I'm not in bed either, but there's my beautiful wife, and there's our dogs, Bruno and Zoe. And Bruno is the one with the white paws, like he has white socks on. That's how I was able to tell the difference between the two for the longest time. This is a big deal, I think, because I don't just want to buy a van. This isn't a picture of a van that I want to buy, or a destination I want to go to. This is like this is a big deal. This is a big lifetime goal, and it doesn't depend on me. I needed another person in my life who wanted to be with me and marry me and have a family together. And it happened. It totally happened. And I'm very grateful. I'm very happy for this. Next slide. Okay, now this is cool. Again, scenery, not exact, excuse me, not exactly sure where this picture was taken, but there's a van, pop-up camper, and on some close to a water source, a lake or something, and there's snow on the ground, there's snow in the mountains. It's just beautiful. And this is me. Almost a similar situation. Pretty dang close. Not even almost. Pretty close. What you can't see is on the left is the actual lake. This lake was called Kite Lake because it was the shape of a kite, or a diamond, whichever you want to call it. But it was called Kite Lake, not Diamond Lake. But you can't see the water, but it's there. And I fished it, and it was an amazing experience. Again, if it wasn't for the four-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive of my GMC, of my Safari, and the tires, I wouldn't have been able to make it up here. This was a hard road to get to, and I think I climbed 1,000 feet or maybe 2,000 feet on the drive up here from where the gravel road or dirt road started. Now, again, a part of it was, how does this van get to this location? Like maybe a 4x4 Jeep can get up there, but a van, and the key is that is a 4-wheel drive van, and so was mine. And it was just awesome. If it wasn't for getting this van that I wanted, or getting this $1,500 van, I wouldn't have been able to go to any of these places and essentially duplicate this picture that I pulled off the internet. Super cool. Next. Now, again, with the family, this is a family thing. I just, it's a pixelated piece of crap picture that I pull off the internet. There's a woman, there's a kid. Obviously, the dad is taking a picture. I wanted to have this kind of a life. Now that I realized that this was unrealistic. That's only on the internet do families, live happily ever after in a van on the road. Not in real life is what I've learned. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what I've just realized is that rooftop storage, boom, there's a picture of it, and then obviously I had it. The next thing is that swing gate, which I don't have a picture of, but I actually ended up getting one for my van. Let's see. And of course, lots of camping. And the best I could come up with this is that there's my rooftop storage. There's a rooftop storage. They're getting ready to. They're just setting up camp. There's me with camp set up in the mountains, in a green patch, or just an open patch surrounded by trees. Oh, not quite the same thing I wanted, and but pretty dang close. Especially the fact that I just noticed that there's a swing gate in this picture, and I eventually bought one, which I'm trying to sell on Craigslist. It was very expensive, but I hope I don't have to sell it. So maybe this one isn't exactly the same, but I feel like it's pretty close. Next up, excuse me, slides that haven't even manifested. So I think there's 4 slides that didn't come true. I don't have a picture from my experience that matches them. And let's go through them. And it just means they haven't happened yet, or maybe I don't want them to happen anymore, and I've changed my mind. Tiny home. Now that I'm married, and now that we have a baby on the road, on the way, I don't know if a tiny home. Well, she doesn't want a tiny home. She needs a lot of space to put stuff. Now, I'm a minimalist. I don't need a lot of space. I don't need a lot of stuff, but she does. So, tiny homes are no longer part of the equation. Even though this is on a big fifth wheel trailer. But she likes to have stuff. So what am I going to do? Tiny home's no longer in the on the vision board. I've taken it off. But that's fine. What I do want to do is build homes. Even if we don't going to live in a tiny home, one day I'm going to build one. And that's going to be part of my career, is building unconventional houses. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this thing. I've always have been. I just want to build homes. I don't know why. The other is this picture of this Bronco on the beach. Now, I thought about this, but I didn't have a picture. I do have a picture of the van on the beach. It was Lake Powell, but it wasn't the ocean. Obviously, this is the ocean. But I did actually park the van. It's the very first, it was still 2015, and parked a van on the beach in Mexico and camped there. So this could represent sleeping on the beach or parking my van on the beach, which actually happened. But it kind of represents the fact that I want to have an old SUV like this Bronco. I went all the way to Oregon one day and bought a Scout and had it shipped back to Missouri, and I loved that thing, but I had to get out of debt, and I had to pay back a stupid loan I took from my retirement. So I had to give up my Scout, which is a international harvester version of like this Bronco. So I don't have this. I kind of want it. I kind of want to have this thing again, this big giant old SUV, and as a project and as just as a hunting vehicle or something. But it hasn't happened yet, but it might. This A-frame home in the woods, definitely not a tiny home, but still, if I could have some type of cabin in the woods, I would love to. And I think my wife would like to as well. Or she loves the mountains. She just has trouble getting away from St. Louis, but I think that it's in our future. That something like this will be in our future. So I'm not giving up this one up. This is not coming off the vision board. This is going to stay. And if you're familiar at all with Christopher McCandless, aka Alexander Supertramp, you know that he traveled by himself, hitchhiked across the country just after graduating college in what was the college? Emory in Atlanta. He traveled the country, did odd jobs. He kept a journal, and he ended up in Alaska, out in the woods by himself, living off the land, trying to, anyways. This is the van where or the bus that he came across and got put out here by, I think, a mining company or something, and it was abandoned. And it was in the middle of nowhere, so there's no way for it to get it out. I forgot how it got there, but he came across it when he was on his travels, and this is where he died. He died. His body was found in this very bus, and so people make a pilgrimage to Chris's death place, or where he passed away. It's something that I wanted to do, and I had a picture of this bus so that I could manifest it and make it happen. Of course, it didn't. I never made it to Alaska, and I don't know if I ever will. People do it. There's groups that go, and they go to this very site on occasion, once or twice a year. But again, I don't know if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to keep this in my vision board or not. I don't know if it's any longer something I really want to do. Okay, so I'm not done with my new vision board, but I have put some slides in. And one of them is one that I took myself. So it's kind of weird, right? I didn't have to pull this off the internet in order to add it to my vision board. I actually took the picture. And that's this Blue Mountain Ranch. It's 532-acre ranch for sale. And I think it's got a $4 million price tag on it. Now, I barely have $4, much less $4 million. But this is part of my plans for the future and my family. And this is where I want to live in. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it retire. I've already lived a retired life for many years, but this is where I want to. This is my forever home. I think this is where I want to raise a family, and I want to be able to. I want to have to go outside and do work, maintain this property, and cut down trees and chop wood and mend fences and put a few head of cattle out here and have some dogs and give my son the experience of a lifetime. I don't even know what to say about this. I really want this, and I have no idea how I'm going to make. Well, my idea is kind of goes to the next slides. My ideas are I'll sell 1 million books. Now here is Luis Alberto Urrea at Bookshop Santa Cruz, and what I'm manifesting here is that I will be up there giving talks about books one day, about my books, and I will do book signings, and people will want to shake my hand and tell me how my books motivated them and how beautiful they are, just like I did with this man when I went and saw him at Tattered Covered Bookstore. On this very day that he took this picture, I was there. He was sitting behind that desk. I introduced myself. I met him, and someday people are going to read my books. more than just one or two people, and they're going to write about me, and they're going to come see me, which has happened already once. But people are going to be moved by my words, and they're going to come see me, and I'm going to be at Tattered Bookstore. I'm going to be on tour. My wife is going to manage me for me. She's going to do social media for me, and I'm going to sell 1,000,000 books, and I'm going to buy this goddamn ranch. All right, folks, this is a long ass recording, and I appreciate you tuning in. I hope this helps you learn something. I hope this helps you with your life. I hope this helps you manifest, learn that you can manifest anything in life you want. And maybe get yourself a bulletin board. Get an old cork board and start cutting things out. Print them out. Some people even say write out $1 million check if money is something that you want. Do these things come magically? No. It's almost like magic. But what happens is you start thinking like a person who has a van, or who has a dog, or who sells 1,000,000 books, or who buys a $4 million ranch. You start thinking like that person, and you start making decisions as that person would make. And things slowly take place and happen. Okay, that is it, folks. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free. You can reach out to me on Twitter at David E. Soto Jr. or on Instagram at David E. Soto Jr. Or just Google me, David Soto Jr. You'll see me. Please check out my books on Instagram or on Amazon. Appreciate your support, and they're pretty dang good if I do say so myself.